All right, we are here with XAR today, and we're looking at a water recycling system. Is
Well,
that what
this
we want to call
one's
this?
this one's hydrogen. Um, that so what happens is we have these recipes that give us back something, right? And it's usually water. Sometimes it's hydrogen. They give us back a little bit of something, but not enough to like run the next cycle or use it further down the line. So we end up with either having to void it because we don't want to deal with it, or running it back to some main station and doing that and being unhappy with that also. So this is just like a priority input for fluids. Um, and so we have a pipe going into a drum. The drum's not necessarily required. I like it because it makes sure that the feeding pipe that I want priority for empty into a larger pipe, and that goes down to where it gets used. And then there's a smaller pipe coming in the bottom in this case. Um, and there's some magic with the way that these fill. This gives us the ability to put fluid into the pipe, but not put so much fluid that we can't take from the other one. So that looks weird, but let's build this, right?
Okay.
So say this is going downstream. Nope, you didn't even follow me. So say this is going downstream to some machinery that we want down the road. We plug this in. We're just using a really big pipe, so that's really easy to see. Um, this pipe specifically has, I can't even see it because there's
That
no
won't
fluid
tell
in
you the
here.
capacity.
This specific pipe will support 1,200 units of fluid. Um, so we know what the maximum is there. We can then go say feed it from our source, our water main or what have you. This pipe has a 200 unit capacity. So when water comes from this source and goes into this big pipe, it will never fill more than that measurement. And actually, we should probably just put some water up here to show how this works. But then I like to throw this on here. This isn't technically necessary. The drum acts as a little reservoir so that we can empty whatever the inlet is. I don't like my cycles to fill up. So I put a drum there, make sure that the feeding, whatever byproduct we're getting, goes into there. So we can throw that in that way. As long as this input has more capacity than the low priority line, you don't need the drum. In this case, we used a small on the top, a small for the feed. It won't work. If this was a regular pipe or a huge or a large pipe, it would fill that with more priority. This relies on a mechanic that Greg has built in. These large pipes want to fill small pipes. Small pipes cannot fully fill big pipes.
Okay.
And so a small pipe can only fill its maximum capacity, not even its maximum capacity, its move capacity into there. So it has a 200 unit. The small rubber pipe has a 200 unit max capacity, but has a bandwidth of 100. It can only put 100 units into this larger pipe.
No matter how long you sit it there, it'll only ever have 100 in the large one from the green one.
Yep. And I'm just dragging this into my water main so we can
Okay.
show that real quick. Loop. Okay. And that should give us water.
Somehow we have hydrogen and oxygen. It's also.
Oh, yeah, it's not in there. Let me disconnect it so it's not confusing. There we go.
Okay, That's way better
There-
because sulfuric acid getting up here would be bad.
There's a quad somewhere in the line. So we have 200 units there. We have 200 units in the large pipe. So
No,
it
we
will
have
never.
243.
Yeah, I don't know why we have 243. That's weird.
That's what I was thinking.
It probably moved a fraction and it ended up over as it was filling up, but it still can't fully fill the pipe. Like
Right.
it will not put any more in because it's over 200 now. It just can't do that. But if we go, say, grab some water and throw it in this drum, there's 1,000 units or almost 2,000 units of water in here. That will then go and fill these pipes.
If you have the drum set to go down.
No, it should be.
No, actually, it's not doing it. Did Greg break
Um,
this?
no, I'm using them. Maybe because there's no movement down the road. Is there nowhere for it to go? Is it draining?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took the water out. So weird way to watch it, but it will take the water out. Okay, and that just makes our explanation less obvious, but
Yeah.
what has fundamentally happened is this tank will get taken water out of first as there's room to take water down the line. And so that tank emptied first. The green feed still has water in it and will continue to have water in it, but it still hasn't pressurized this pipe. And since this pipe hasn't become pressurized, we can continue to insert water down the way.
Okay. And this is good for like, is it platinum group sludge where you lose a bit of the water in the system, so you gotta replenish it a little bit?
Yeah, I have. So if we go up one level and over into that area, we can see a hodgepodgery of these pipes in that. We have this one here is water for the water that we lose, and there's a drum up there to make sure that we get the water out of that. There's also one right here, which is harder to see. There's actually one overflow and a second overflow on this oxygen feed to ensure that we get oxygen. So we get oxygen first into the tungsten steel drum from the stainless. We also get oxygen into the bronze drum from the sulfuric lines. And then we finally get oxygen in the tiny pipe from the main oxygen tank, which is mostly recycled CO2.
Okay.
So I am trying my best to use in ore processing oxygen in that case, but it's
So you're not having a spaghetti factory like Bear.
I mean, it's pretty spaghetti over here.
Okay, octopus, I guess, since mine are just running everywhere.
Yours are, are monsters. This is a
All right.
benevolent spaghetti monster.
Okay. So,
We also have one up on the roof, with this tank here, where this tank is doing the recycled water from the sluice. So there's there's a centrifuge for the sluice. We get the water back up. It goes into the tank. It basically feeds immediately. and then we have a small pipe. And this is a good example of how to use this. The feed doesn't have to all be a whole small pipe. I have a regular size pipe and then a few sections of small pipe going into a regular pipe again, just to provide that effect of the small pipe's capacity.
Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're running your sluice, then running the sluice juice into the centrifuge,
Yep.
and the water that gets recycled out of there comes up and into the tank and mixes with whatever water it needs to refeed the sluice again.
Yep.
So you don't have to have an outside main hooked directly to the centrifuge or to the sluice and then void all of your water. Nice way of conserving water so you're not having to set up bigger and bigger drain systems to collect the water.
There used to not be loss on the sluice, and in more recent versions, there's loss on the sluice juice back to water, which is fine. You used to be able to do a closed system for it, which is what I was intending for this to originally be, but we updated at some point and it stopped being a closed system.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the explanation. And I will see you guys next time. If you have any questions, as always, drop us a comment or stop into our Discord and ask in the GT6 help. And one of us will do our best to answer it. Later.